Welcome to the show, everyone. We're back. It's been 2 weeks.
It's true. Little hiatus.
I don't even know how to do this anymore. Let's be honest. The order of operations to kick off this killer YouTube show that's supposed to be weekly, I didn't remember how to do it. Huge tech guy here. Couldn't figure it out. Anyway, good to be back. Chris, I would say great to see you. Like, it's been a while, but I saw you Friday, so it hasn't been that long.
That's true.
Nonetheless, it's still good to see you. How you doing? How you holding up? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. You know, we got to chase the sun on Friday night. That was fun. Mm-hmm. Played an old golf course. That was good. And then that was really good. Went down to Blono on Sunday to visit the kid before her first day of college, her junior year of college. And yeah, not bad.
For those that don't know, that's Bloomington Normal, Illinois.
Right.
Home of Illinois State University, Illinois Wesleyan University, Heartland Community College.
I was going to say Heartland because I thought about going to Heartland when I was going to college.
A lot of people did that. They're like, well, I want to be like an Illinois State kid, but I can't get in. I can't afford it. There's some reason, right?
Yeah. So I want to play on their baseball team.
There's that. So then they go down to Heartland. They live by Heartland. You like, oh, hey, I met you somewhere. Where do you? Yeah, sure. We'll go to your apartment. Where is it? And they're like, over by I-55. And you're like, nope.
Yeah, that's right.
Talk to me when you get back over here to Illinois State transfer.
Right. Let me know when you get to College Ave. All right. We'll talk.
More importantly, it is home to State Farm Insurance, Country Insurance.
That's true. Also home to Distill Brewery. Which is quite good.
Have you gone to the actual place?
I have, yeah. The first time, 2 years ago now, I guess, when the kid first moved in, I stopped and grabbed some food. They have really good bar food, and then grabbed some beers for the road, not to drink on the road, but to take home.
Oh yeah, of course.
Just to be clear,
I wasn't sure. Yeah, I'm like, it's the come up that town has had. I graduated there in 2007, Illinois State, and the come up they have had is unbelievable. Like, that place wasn't there when I was in college. There was like two quote unquote nice places. There's Biaggi's over on Veterans Parkway, and then there's some place, can't remember the name of it, but there's some place in downtown Bloomington that was supposed to be really nice. I never went to. And then as soon as I leave, you get that place. And I mean, you get their beer up here. It's regarded. I don't know.
Yeah.
Highly. It's regarded enough.
Yeah. It's a good sour.
Have you
they do a good job.
It's not just sour. They have a lot of good things. Have you ever had that?
That's true.
It's like they have like it's a Hawaiian something. And it's coconut and pineapple.
No,
it is. I gotta look up what it's called. I totally forgot, but it is awesome.
Really? Yeah.
So
that
good.
Sounds great.
You can get it at Binny's. You can get it at whatever place has it up here, but it's so good. So
All
good.
Right.
Anyway, we got tons of show today after missing 2 weeks. So let's do it.
Right.
Let's get into some gear talk.
Do we want to address why we were gone last week?
I thought we do it after gear talk.
Okay, fine. Well, let's do gear talk first. Fair enough.
Gear talk. All right. What if I told you I had some new gear to talk about this week? What if I told you
I'd be ready. I'd be excited about it.
Well, I do.
What do you have? What is it? Tell me.
This week on the hit website, driverangeheroes.com, we had 2 reviews go up. One, the Cobra King Speedzone fairway wood. Now, Cobra made 3 different fairway woods this year. They have the tour version, which is smaller, more compact, with a low and forward center of gravity. So that's for your low launch, low spin, Ricky Fowler kind of play, right?
Okay.
Then they have the regular one, which is the one I got. That has a more, we'll get into the details of that, but that's for higher launch, more forgiving, long distance. And then they have like an extreme one. I wouldn't tell you it's like a mini driver, but it's super forgiving, high launching, high spinning, bigger shape, if that's your thing. Okay. Anyway, gotta tell you, I was a big Cobra Fairway wood guy, let's say 7 years ago, 6, 5, somewhere in there. They had the BioCell and BioCell Tour. They were tremendous fairway woods.
Yeah.
They had right after that, they had I think it came right after that, the King Limited series or LTD, depending on how you like to say it, but it had that spaceport window in the bottom.
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
I still have them somewhere. I want to say they're in Uncle Bill's club graveyard still, because I mean, I played some great golf with those, and there's that element of, hey, you never know, rainy day. So, God, every time I take a sip. So what people here may not know, before we started recording, maybe Chris will put it in as an Easter egg. I just set this bottle of beer down gently and just everywhere. So now every time I take a sip, I'm terrified of it. Anyway, so then they were making fine fairway woods, but they weren't exciting me like they used to. So I didn't play them for a while, and then I would say starting with the F9 last year, maybe the F8, Cobra was started bringing me back. Well, the Speedzone fairway wood is awesome. Isn't in my bag yet. Maybe we'll see, but it's super long and super easy to hit, which in fairway woods is a big deal, because fairway woods are inherently a difficult club to hit, regardless of what anyone tells you. Now, as I was starting to say earlier, the whole point is they put carbon, nice carbon crown on it, which means there's not much weight on the top of the club. So now the weight's more focused on the bottom. They put a heavier weight toward the back of the sole. So now your center of gravity is low and back in the head. What does that mean, everybody? That means theoretically, the club's going to be easier to launch higher, which means more carry, and it's going to spin a little more, which should help keep it in the air and help with your control a little bit. You start moving it forward, it comes out lower, it's harder to get going, and it can whip around and you get a little crazy. Better players do like that sometimes, because they like to be able to shape their shots and do all sorts of crazy things, and they can do it.
Right.
So everyone goes, well, I'm a 10 handicap. Which one is it? I wouldn't say it's based on your handicap. It's based on how you hit fairway woods and the types of shots you want to hit. In this case, you want a long, off the tee, easy, forgiving fairway wood. Cobra King Speedzone's a good option. You want long, high, hit a par 5 and 2 and have it come down nice and smooth.
Nice and soft, right.
You'll still get some roll because it's a fairway wood. Also a great option for that.
Yeah.
The club's fantastic. And you know what? So often people go with the smaller heads because they like the look. It's more traditional, pear-shaped, whatever. This is here I want you to put in, send you this picture. I want you to put in a picture of the address look, okay? Just put it in right after this explanation.
All right. It's on the screen right now. So imagine it's on the screen starting now.
So it's a nice pear shape. It's, not too shallow. But it's not a deep face. It's just right. Good medium profile. It's not compact, but it's not big by any means. It's just right. Goldilocks, if you will. Use that term a lot with golf gear. It's just right.
Yeah.
So looks fantastic and looks modern. It has the carbon, like I said, and the carbon crown and the ridges on it. It looks very modern, but it has a nice traditional shape. Great fairway. Can't say enough about it. Man, there's a lot of good fairway woods on the market this year.
I was gonna say, yeah, this is kind of the year of the fairway wood, huh? There's a lot of quality out there, depending on what you're
into it. But I mean, man, I think the only one I haven't hit the TaylorMade, but Tommy did, and he was in love with it. Haven't hit the Callaway, heard great things. Obviously the Tour Edge, but I mean, this Cobra fairway is really good. God, great year for fairway woods. Hats off, golf. You did it.
Now the Cobra driver is that your gamer?
Yeah, I got bad news. Yeah. Right now, though, I'm struggling with it. You were there Friday. We'll talk about that. But right now, my gamer shaft.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
that happened the last time we played together before Friday.
Yeah,
right?
so
When
I'm still waiting.
rattling?
I'm still waiting. I had a glue issue. Had to take it apart and rebuild it. And I said, this VA shaft's nemesis, so good, but because of the extreme counterbalance, you have to swing weight it.
Yeah.
And
that's right. That's right. You had to do
so much work, and with a little, I don't like putting tip weights in graphite shafts and drivers and whatnot, but I put a little 2 gram one in there just to help. And I mixed lead powder into the epoxy. And I'm like, maybe that was part of my issue. I think I got way too much epoxy, like up the like inside of the shaft. That was my problem, I think. But I'm like, I don't feel like doing that again. So I just ordered heavier sole weights for the drivers. So right now I'm waiting for those to come before I rebuild this thing again. And it's
my God.
It's not, the shaft I have in the driver is perfectly fine. It's just I'm not used to it. But yes, I do play the Cobra King Speedzone driver. It's again, another great year for drivers too.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything I've put it up against, it comes out on top. So that's my driver this year. It's a good problem to have, you know? All right. Second piece of gear. This will be
you have more gear talk?
More gear talk. This will be the second review from Wednesday on driverangeheroes.com. Hit golf website if you've ever heard of it. Chris, what I have here, let me show you.
Yo, yeah.
True Linkswear.
Oh, yeah.
OG field shoes.
That pair. So, I mean, they're both gorgeous. The pair on the left there in your left hand.
That's my right hand.
I know.
I see
the
what
pair on
you're
your
doing.
left hand.
Oh.
Those are super. I mean, that is a dope shoe right there. Also, give me the bottom here while we're going play by play here. Love the bottoms of those things too.
You know what they do such a good job with at True Linkswear? You've worn this exact
those ones
shoe.
Yep. Yes, I have.
This has a little rock in there. What do you know? But this tread. So what I always like, a lot of the spikeless shoes out there, right? Oh, good for, on and off the course. But it's the second you step in a black asphalt parking lot, and God forbid there's any moisture, you're sliding everywhere.
Yep.
Oh, you're walking in on a tile floor, just slipping. With these guys, that sole gives you, I mean, it's not, this isn't wearing metal spikes. This isn't wearing a heavily spiked shoe. But in terms of spikeless shoes, great traction on the course.
Yeah.
And then you leave the course, and it feels like you're walking in normal shoes, maybe even a little grippier on any surface. But I mean, it's so good. Now, as you can see, have this wonderful soft knit upper, right?
I know they're just so pretty. Just look at that shoe.
Do you remember how much this shoe weighs? One of these shoes?
I don't.
8 ounces.
Wow.
8 ounces for one of these shoes.
I have socks that weigh more than that shoe.
Yeah, right. And so the whole point is, I like just doing this so you look at that, not my face. The whole point of this shoe is like you're wearing a shoe without even realizing it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a stretch, but it's pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close to true.
Yeah.
That is the first thing when I got these. Oh, there's a rock in this one too. The first thing I noticed about these, I'm like, God, you're not even wearing a shoe. It's fantastic. Like anything, it's going to come down to a lot of personal preference or, do you have cankles? Don't you? Like, it might fit you weird what that shoe's for you. But for me, this shoe is so comfortable. You can wear it forever. And that's not hyperbole. I wear.
I would say some of your shoes, some of the previous True Linkswear shoes, you still wear to this day.
Yeah, they're like my go-to shoes. Oh, speaking of, I played a round at a private course Saturday, and I got my trusty white True Linkswear TL01s nice and polished while I was playing my round. So for at least a week, they'll look somewhat newer. But yeah, so you could wear these around all day. zero problem. And I think what they do such a good job of is, if you recall, you feel like you have tons of range of motion in the shoe, like a lot of freedom to move around. They don't squeeze your feet, but I forgot what they call this part, but basically this part right here, you pull it tight. You don't feel squeezed, but you have the support you need, right? Because like you do need some support walking around a golf course and swinging a club. Yeah. This guy, let's just pull it tight, and it just hugs your foot and keeps it close. Keeps your foot close to that sole, so you don't slip around like crazy.
Yep. So the other thing too, if you show the tongue of the shoe, so kind of related to that. So I have another pair of golf shoes. If I tie them too tight, that the tongue of the golf shoe like wears out my ankle. But those, not an issue.
I have the thing in there, but right, because it doesn't
it's
have
nice
a tongue.
And soft. Yeah, it's nice and soft. And I mean, basically, it's all one piece, so it's not kind of digging into your ankle.
I can't wait to wear the living daylights out of my True Linkswear OG feels, but I've been keeping them crisp.
I see that, yeah.
For the video, for this YouTube show. And then, as discussed, we have other video work to do with these, but we could probably wear them for that. Anyway, this shoe is phenomenal. I probably should have looked up the price tag, but I feel like I remember it being fairly reasonable. Do you remember what it is?
They were reasonable. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember.
It's not like $200. I know that much.
No. No, in fact, the $200 pair of shoes I have are the ones that dig into my ankle.
Here, I have this little thing called the internet.
You have the internet now? Congratulations.
Well, we'll get to that. I did not have the internet for a little bit. And it was brutal. Yeah. $140. You're going to spend a lot of money on a lot more money on other spikeless golf shoes that aren't this comfortable. So,
right. Yep.
True Linkswear OG feel. So good. So good. I got to figure out how to scam True Linkswear out of some more of these. All right, Chris, that was gear talk. Hey, you know what didn't make gear talk, but is gear related? Just a quick note. I took on a new set of vintage irons today as we record this. Got myself, they need a little work. I'll do a little, get in the garage, replace some grips. They don't have the original grips, but they are some Wilson Staff Dynapower irons, 2 through pitch from 1964. Looked them up. They came with these like black and red calf hide grips around. So they used to have basically like think of a tube they would have to wrap that would go on, and then they'd wrap the leather around it, right?
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Usually those were rubber. This one was cork. So I texted the guy who gave them to me because they were his grandpa's clubs and his dad's clubs, then his clubs. And when he got them, he's playing with them and they're leather grips. So he's like throwing them everywhere. He goes, I need to put new grips on. He's a caddy at one of the sick private clubs around here as a kid, right? And he asked the caddy master, he's like, hey, can you re-grip these clubs for me? And the guy's like, yeah, it's $2 a grip. He's like, yeah, okay, good, I'll pay it. He goes, I make the turn. I go off to go play my round. I make the turn, walking by the clubhouse, and he yells, hey, this is the guy's name, get over here. So he comes over, he's like, these grips are so bad. You're going to learn how to re-grip clubs. So he finishes his round, he goes and gets paid, and the guy pulls him in and teaches him how to re-grip golf clubs. But yeah, because he had to cut all that cork off, and then the tape's just like rotted on there because when he got them, they would have been 30, 40 years old, right?
Right.
So I texted him. I'm like, hey, I read up on these. I go, do you remember when you told me that story? Do you remember the grips being cork? He goes, actually, yeah, they were cork, and I thought that was weird. And of course, you read Wilson's like, oh, it's to vibration dampening, whatever. And I'm sitting there going, all we had to do was replace that leather wrap, and we could still have the cork grip.
You could still have the cork, yeah.
Dang it! All right, here's why we didn't have a show last week. Everybody's going on about it. We all learned about a new type of weather system called a derecho. The derecho, quite frankly, kicked the shit out of the Bush household. I say that I don't like. I shouldn't even. I'm trying to make light of it, but we really, our house was fine.
No, yeah,
no property damage. I walk around the block, and at the end of my street, there's a house with a 200-year-old tree down on top of it through the roof. Then I turn that corner and walk down. There's another house on the other corner. Just probably had 3 of them down in it. I mean, just smashed half the house. I had a buddy who had both of his car windows smashed out. I'm sorry. All of his windows on both cars smashed out. Like at a like junkyard, just flattening his cars, and they all
the hood,
explode out.
Yeah, flatten the lid. Yeah,
and it was bad. So because I was sitting here, working away, power goes out. Everything was time stamped when I lost my power, so I know I lost it Monday at 3:36 p.m.
Man,
we didn't get power back till lunchtime Thursday. Thankfully, my in-laws got it back like late Tuesday night, and they had their refrigerator and freezer running on a generator. So we were able to get, as you all know, I'm a barbecue connoisseur, so I have very deluxe premium meats in the freezer. We rushed those over, which this comes full circle in our later conversations. We rushed those over, get them in their freezer. They were like, you could tell they were probably like 4 hours from being okay, time to start thawing out.
Really?
So we saved a lot of our food, still threw away tons of it. But Tuesday, I can't. Oh, and I couldn't go into the city and work at the office because Chicago's been a war zone.
Yeah, you can't get into the loop. I mean, you can now, but you couldn't then.
Right. So I'm like, well, I can't do that. So Tuesday I was just dead. There's nothing I can do. And then Wednesday I was able to work from my in-laws' house, and won't go into too much detail, but Thursday, so I wake up, hop on a bunch of meetings at their house. My family all leaves with my in-laws to go to Wisconsin. And I'm like, I'm through these meetings. I'm just going to go see how the house is doing. Is there water from the freezer? Which that's the worst part about when your freezers go, is all of a sudden the water starts leaking out.
Yeah.
And just go check on the house. So I go check on the house, and sitting in the living room for like 15 minutes doing something. And as I'm sitting there, all of a sudden, just all the power goes on, and we got power back. So
nice.
Thursday, got my power back. Well, then everyone's like, all right, cool, you're home now. I'm like, no, I had to go back and like wrap up work at my in-laws, like, get things settled there, catch up on the stuff I just missed for the last hour. Oh, I have another meeting. Now I can go. And then I have to shut down their house because they're they're out of town. And, there's a whole procedure for that, of course. So finally I go home and I'm sitting there going, I don't even know where to begin. And just this is what having electricity is like. Yeah. So I really didn't have internet for 4 days.
Yeah.
Or 3 days.
No joke.
And then, the whole time you're looking at, they said it was around 725,000 people didn't have electricity in Illinois, and Iowa got hit worse. Yep. But they were starting to say the predicted restoration time from Monday at 3:36 p.m. The predicted restoration time was Saturday at 3 p.m. And even a lot of people started getting them kicked out to like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, these are conservative. And people are like, you said that about Saturday at 3 p.m. and you're already kicking me out to, midnight.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it stands now as of Monday. They got to be all restored. Like, we had to rebuild power grids. This is one of the worst things we've ever seen.
When we played Friday on the south side, there were still, I think Harvey still didn't have power. There were still lights that were out when I was coming in.
Oh yeah. There are definitely places around here that still didn't have power, but I think it was wild. And then, their sirens are going. So
it was bizarre. The kids, absolutely bizarre.
You would think 4 and 8 year olds, it's like they'd be scared during the sirens. What was interesting, that part, they're just kind of like, oh, we go downstairs and they're just hanging out. They're asking questions, and there's no power, so we can't turn on the news.
Right.
Oh, and to make matters worse, like this storm, the way it came through, it was damaging cell towers and stuff. So
Sure.
my internet goes out. Oh, I guess we got to use LTE on the phones, right? Nothing. No signal. You couldn't check your email. Couldn't go to the weather.com. You couldn't do anything. And then I had to switch. Smart tech guy that I am here. Everybody uses LTE, right? Well, and so we're all getting routed, I'm sure, to the same towers now and clogging them up. Well, everybody uses LTE on their phones these days. I'm going to drop down to 3G. So I switched it down to 3G, and then I could at least start getting text messages through. But I would say for a good 2 days, if I switched to LTE, nothing. If I put it on 3G, I could text, group text with you and J-Riv. It was great.
Right. The important stuff.
And so people like on our block be like, I can't get anything to work on my phone. I go, switch to 3G. Thank me later. Okay. God. And then my poor neighbor had to go in for a fairly significant outpatient surgery, which is kind of nice. Like she's like, well, at least I have air conditioned electricity at the hospital.
Right. You can have power there. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, but you have to come home and recover without it. That sucks.
Oh, that's right. Cause it's outpatient. That does suck.
So yeah, that was oh my God. How did we forget the most important detail in all of this? We don't have electricity. We're getting rid of a bunch of stuff. I walk out.
Oh, I didn't forget about this. I was going to bring it up. Yeah.
I walk out with a garbage bag, and this is Tuesday, maybe 11 a.m. I lift the lid, and I just see something like, it's a raccoon in my garbage can. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. I'm unreasonably terrified of raccoons because of the stories we've told here countless times. So I'm like scared of raccoons. I'm not scared of snakes, of, big spiders, alligators. I'm not scared of that stuff. As I've gotten older, let's just say, am I scared of sharks? Or is it just, I know I'm fine if I don't go in an ocean?
Right. You can avoid sharks. It's easy in the Midwest to avoid sharks.
Yeah, and if I go, hey, I want to go to Disney World and we'll go to the beach, be like, yeah, and I won't go in. I don't have to go in the ocean. It's fine. So, that's a little chicken and the egg thing there. But raccoons, man, because of that nighttime incident, I'm so scared of them for whatever reason. And so my wife's like, get out here. And she's like, I want to see. So she goes and, looks. And she goes, it's just sleeping. And stir and go back to sleep. And I go, that doesn't make sense. I guess theoretically, hey, they got to find somewhere to sleep. This was as good a place as any, right? Because it wasn't there the night before. We knew that because we put the garbage can there and there's nothing in there at night. Later in the day, we decide we're going to check if it's still there. Sure enough, it's curled up or we nudge the can and you hear they're inside. And then some time passes, and my dad at this point knows what we're doing. He sees us, so he comes walking over. He nudges it. Okay. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I'm out of here. And then we're like, we got to get this thing out, let it out. And of course, people are like, you probably can't get out. I'm like, these things can scale glass walls.
He would go in and out all the time. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, and people once he got in, though, there was nothing in there to any more garbage it could climb up. I'm like, if it got up the can, it can get out. So, sure, fine. We're like, you know what? My dad's like, you guys got to lay the garbage can down and lift the top open and let it out. So I go, I'm not doing it. My dad's like, I will push it to the end of the driveway. He's like, you get something to lift the lid with and fend it off. So we get a Cobra Pro Tour Issue Pro CB3 iron.
I was going to ask, what golf club did you use?
From back in the day. It's a great club, by the way. So we lift it. You can't see it. So then we we drop it down, get the lid open. You can't see it. So We take it, kind of shake it around a little bit so the garbage would like shift. Now you can see it. Not moving. Just this gray blob. And we're convinced we see it move like it's a reflection off of other garbage or something. Yeah. Finally, convinced it doesn't move. And they're like, poke it. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to go stand 100 feet away because I'm unreasonably scared of raccoons. So then my wife and my dad come to an agreement. They're going to like hold the lid open and like kick the back of the can. It doesn't move. Well, now they're like both getting closer, looking in the garbage cans, not moving. And then my wife at this point is in charge of the golf club because I'm, like inside 4 houses down at this point.
I was just saying, looking through the window from inside the house. She
pokes it and kind of backs off. And I'm like, it doesn't move. Nothing happens. And I'm like, she kind of does it again. I'm like, hey, I'm 5 houses away, but I'm like, you gotta give it a good poke, jar it at this point. So she does. She's good little poke, nothing. And she like I wasn't close enough to see, but she's like, it was stiff.
Oh,
and I'm like, it's dead. And they're like, oh yeah, it's dead. So then maybe it just overheated in there throughout the day. So that was on Tuesday. Garbage day is Monday. Oh, had a dead raccoon in there until this morning, really. Man. So I'm like, we got to pay a service to come and clean our garbage cans. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's rough, man. Moment of silence for raccoon. Moment of silence.
And then that night, my dad texts me, "Don't worry, the family's okay. I just saw 3 of them scamper across my patio." And I'm like, oh no, was their dad supposed to bring them dinner and it did it? Raccoons are geniuses though. They're survivors. It'll be fine. What kills me is like, I've told you guys, I don't want the raccoon to die. Right. Like, eat my garbage. I don't care.
Right. You just wanted a treaty, a truce of sorts.
But then when it's like, well, why don't you help out of the can? I'm like, if it has rabies, I'm not getting the rabies. And at this point, it's surviving, right? It's the raccoon or it's me. It got himself in there. If it can't get itself out. When my luck.
Parents don't fly together because if one, if the plane goes down and they're both on it, then you have parentless kids. So someone had to go into the house to survive in case it was a rabid, murderous raccoon. And so,
but Chris, all jokes aside, my luck. It would have been the 1 out of a million chance you get attacked and bit by a raccoon. Oh, and it did have rabies. Like, it would be my luck.
Right. Especially when there's no power and you got to go to the hospital and it's like
during coronavirus.
Right. Yeah.
You got COVID? No, I have rabies. So yeah. Oh, and if you're interested, last week I wrote a blog about why we didn't have a Thursday show. Chris, I told you should read it because of the raccoon joke, but
I got to get on that.
Some good YouTube videos. There's a YouTube video in there. Guy's Miles something, but he does a YouTube channel called You Betcha, and it's about like basically Midwest stereotypes.
I've seen that video. I've seen the video. I know exactly what you're talking about.
He has a ton of them.
Yeah, and but I know it's the one that you talked to me about on Friday.
The 5 different golf guys.
Yeah.
Great video, and it's dead on accurate.
Yeah,
and to the point where it's kind of alarming, and golfers should be embarrassed because this is how we behave. And I'm totally gonna embrace the too supportive guy. I'm gonna start being that guy every time I play. He's like, oh my God, am I playing with Tiger Woods today? That's going to be me from now on. It's me insufferable. We've alluded to this a few times now. I got some weird lighting going tonight. It's kind of driving me nuts. We golfed on Friday. How about that, huh?
We did. Yeah. Played some golf together. It was nice. Just the 2 of us.
It was. It is what 2 pals needed.
That's true. For a long week. Very long for you.
Yeah. And the weekend didn't get much better.
Right.
We played at the historic Calumet Country Club.
That's right. From 1901?
1901. I don't know how long it's been in that actual location. This was a favorite trick of Chicagoland country clubs to start in one place, relocate anywhere from 2 to 20 years later and still be like, oh, we've been here for 120 years. Like, no, you haven't.
Right. Because technically it's not in Calumet.
Yeah, it's in Homewood.
Right.
I don't
maybe
even
Homewood. Maybe that was Calumet at one point. I don't know.
Well, it does get weird there with Homewood and Flossmoor and all of them, and like how they shifted. And there's other towns that weren't even there. There's other clubs that have been gone for 45 years. I mean, that place is already thus the problem we're going to talk about. But like, it's so oversaturated with country clubs as it is, and there's like another 30 that have been gone for decades. You know?
Yeah.
But Calumet Country Club's history was they moved to their current location. Donald Ross design, Byron Nelson. I feel like we talked about all this on the show once, but oh well. Byron Nelson won one of his 11 PGA streak wins at the original at this location, Calumet Country Club course. Then the club, I don't know if it was like eminent domain or if the club sold it off. I think they sold it off. Sold off a bunch of land. So I-80 and Dixie Highway and I think another road could be built, which meant they lost a ton of space and had to now condense the 18 holes into this smaller property. So it's interesting now when you play it because they're like, oh, you know, Donald Ross design. And I was like, dude, I bet you at best there are 2 Donald Ross holes out there still. And all the like super Rossian components of it are gone. And you can tell the stuff that's newer there that I should have done the research for this. Whoever came in and redid it later said, you're supposed to be a Ross course. You're missing Ross components. I'll give you some Ross components, but they don't fit. Like something isn't right.
And you can, you pointed out a couple of them, and then I started to see them after you pointed out a couple examples.
There's just like
really interesting,
weird flat spots that clear. There's one, and if you told me this was an original Ross hole, I could buy it because I've played a handful of Ross courses in the Chicagoland area, and they all have this one type of hole that he would use to stick on boundary lines of properties. Mm-hmm. And it's a shorter par 4 with some sort of ditch about 3/4 of the way down. So they have one. It looks very Rossian. If it is, I don't know. I want to get a tour of the place and have someone who can tell me all the differences. But just off to the right, there's this like weird runway of built up flat rough. Yeah. That clearly was an old tee box or something. And if you walk up,
it was a tee box. 100% was a tee box.
Had to be. So then you're like, well, that was a tee box. Was this hole here? What was this like? Which I guess it could have been the same place. And you walked over the bridge to that tee box because there is a bridge there.
Right. I was going to say.
Cross.
Yep. Right. You could not.
But you could not. So
I would imagine that would have been the green that we played. You'd walk over and play that tee box going the other direction. Yeah.
If you go over to that fence, there's like there's one that's actually really nice. 2 office, like generic office park buildings. They're of size, and sort of a nice babbling creek, which while I've seen like water management ponds at big corporate offices, that's not uncommon. You don't have features like this. And then there's like the ones built up on into and on a rolling hill. And you're like, I bet you any money that was original golf course property that the Donald Ross course or whatever went on to. So you see that there's just big mounds behind greens in the middle of nowhere where you're like, well, this was something. Right. I found 2 more out
tree lines and things. Yeah.
Yeah. In which, Donald Ross used to use mounds as a hazard too. You see him at Ravislow a lot.
Sure.
But you're like, that's not what this is. It's literally in no man's land. What was this? And I'd have to like go out and go through it again. But I found 2 more even after Friday looking for them with you. I found 2 more when I played there today.
Did you really? Yeah.
And so we have to get out there and like chronicle it before it's gone because
for sure, man.
As common in southern suburbs of Chicago, it's another 100-year-old club that ran into money problems as times changed, and especially down in that area. And they opened it to the public 3 years ago, 2 and a half.
Yeah, something
went
like that.
Semi-private. it's a common model you see. It seems like in clubs, they go, we need to do something to save it. They all make this like last ditch effort to pump a ton of money into it, change the course, update the course, whatever, work on the clubhouse, go, that's it. This is going to save it. And then it doesn't.
Yeah.
It happened at Ravislow. It happened at Joliet Country Club, another 19.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
1902, 1900. It's old. And it's gone. It had 1 year of that and semi-private, right? With a membership gone. You and I sort of disagree, but Flossmoor right now is, they're, I feel like, making their last effort of like, well, what we didn't have money and what we're doing is not working. So we're trying to make a big change. Hey, hopefully it works.
I mean, if they can outlast all these other clubs that are shutting down, maybe they can survive.
Let's hope. But
we got to go play that course. I got to get you on that course. Somehow that course is just fantastic too.
Yeah, you do.
Wonderful.
You do have to. So you have this place where maybe it's me being a pessimist. I don't know. But you're like, yeah, you can see the old characteristic and the time this place had. But you can also tell, like, this hasn't been the 1940 Donald Ross design, or that the course that was played in 1940, whatever, when Byron won on it. Like,
right.
It hasn't
It's
been that in quite
course,
some time.
Yep.
And I was saying this 3 years ago when they just made it semi-private. I mean, they still had the full country club maintenance thing going on. They had the cart girls going around with all the like top shelf booze. The bar was bumping, and obviously, admittedly, the pandemic's happening now. But even last year, that was already dying off.
Yeah,
and now it's like they can't even afford to pull weeds. There's like ropes off in the bushes. I mean, like, taking
the greens are burnt out. Yeah,
they're not just burnt out; they're like dead and infected. It's bad. And it's been sad over these. I mean, you knew that, like, I hate to be like this. You knew it was coming, but it's been sad over the last 3 years watching the decline. And the people there are trying to do a good job, but
sure, of course.
I'll just put it this way. I won't put the numbers on it, but I had a conversation with someone today. They went from a relatively high, all things considered, maintenance budget for the course to like what should have probably in peak season been a week of revenue for the season.
Right. I mean, they took like a 75% cut in their maintenance budget.
I feel like it was more like an 80-90%.
Yeah. I mean, it was brutal. Not like we got to trim some fat here and there. It was like you're going to get 20% of
you
what
used to have a whole fleet of riding lawnmowers and blowers. And when I say blowers, I'm talking about like the airplane jets they put on the back of carts and dry out fairways and shoot leaves into oblivion. Now they're like, okay, you have to mow the whole course, including the greens, and roll them with a $250 Honda lawnmower that you just have to push. If you start Monday morning, you can be done by the following Monday with the first 4 holes.
Yeah.
I saw them actually doing some later in the day, doing some maintenance today. And you're like, God, I mean, they're working hard, and you're going, it's probably all the maintenance they have. And these guys, it's like, the amount of work they were going to do still to just be behind and it was sad.
I wonder if they converted into like a 9-hole course or something, or a 12-hole course, if they could survive a little longer. I mean, it's got some good bones to it, man. It's got like, it's got
really good bones.
Yeah.
And especially if you got with a budget and you got like a David Essler, he might have been the one who did the last work on it, but I'm guessing he didn't have much money to work with then either. But if you got like a David Essler in there to go and be like, all right, let's get a Ross course here. it could be cool. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, it could. I think it would be really cool. Yeah, I think you've seen it. You know, I'm like, how much do we love? I mean, I love Ravislow, and that's what it took a minor miracle, but you can do it. It's been done.
Well, I think there's a certain bit of
think about too when you get the Tiger Woods course that's going to get built in the city. People are going to be coming to that. They're going to want to play some other courses.
Yeah, that's another topic. I had this conversation with John today about how, like, I am getting so sick of all the public golf in Chicago right now. And I was thinking about this. I feel like there is some cool stuff. Now, obviously, tee times are getting harder to get, but
yeah,
man, all of our cool golf is private here. There's stuff that's fine. Like,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Oak Meadows is good. It's fine. Prairie Landing's cool. It's expensive. Cantini's just fine, and it's super, super expensive, but it shouldn't be for that money.
Want. But yeah, I guess it depends on what you want. Because I like the Highlands. I think the Highlands are great. I think that's a really
but
great
imagine
golf
it's
course.
like, hey, I want to play
Chicago, but
Chris, you and I have some time to actually play golf together. Let's play somewhere cool. Highlands, like not even Prairie Landing anymore. It's like you have your pick is actually very, very limited, especially
within my, let's say, city limits or 15, 20 mile limit. I don't have anything. I got Harborside, I guess. I mean, that's the best you can do. So Harborside's cool, but it's not. I mean, come on,
But that's it. Like, I'm starting to get to the point. I feel that way about everything, and you always hear, man, Chicago's quietly like one of the top 3 golf cities in America, and I start going, no, overall, sure, but public golf here is just so mediocre. And it's kind of depressing.
That's true. That's
Lasonia,
true.
right? Lasonia, overall, public.
Yeah.
Links course is amazing. What do we have like that? Nothing.
Highlands.
That's not the Links course.
No, you're right. It's nothing like the Links course. That's true.
And it's like,
you have to go to like, I guess Prairie Landing or Heritage Bluffs. Kind of got some of that.
I've never played Heritage Bluffs. I have to get out there.
Yeah, we should go.
Schaumburg Golf Club, super cool, but same thing. It's
it's not the same though. Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. But that's what what I realized in this conversation.
Or you go to
John.
Thunderhawk. Thunderhawk is like, but it's more. It's not Links. It's not like Lasonia. It's different.
But still, that little like wowing factor, and it's accessible and reasonably priced. Right, the Glen Club. Oh, well, it's $200.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna drive another 2 hours and go play Sand Valley for $200. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think like coming to that realization was kind of depressing. There's a lot of it's good, it's fine. Village Links and Glen Ellen, right? Another one. It's fine. It's a good course. I like playing it, but it's not like, hey, the reason this all started is because John has really he does. Let me punch my mic. Has some people coming from Michigan, like, let's go play somewhere cool with them before they head up to Wisconsin. And it took us 4 days of basically going, where? Like,
I guess it depends on what's cool to you, I guess. Like, I like your standards are much higher than mine, I think, in general.
No. See,
it's true though, because like I could play Mount Prospect every weekend and I would be so happy.
I tried to book Mount Prospect twice from Friday to today. And through tomorrow. The Saturday morning, they only had 3 9-hole options at 6 a.m. Yeah. And then nothing till 2.
Well, yeah, it's a public course that's popular. Yeah.
Mount Prospect is cool. It's cool. It's fine.
And it's $50.
But it's like if you were to be like, hey, I'm coming up to Wisconsin, I can be like, actually, wait till you see this thing I have to show you. Michigan, same thing. Like, wait till you see this course way up in these hills in the woods and you get this view of Bear Lake. And it's like, we have Dubs Dread. Oh, it's a PGA course. It's $180. We have the Gun Club. It's $200. Now, I'm talking that like attraction. I agree with you. You and me, we want to play 18 holes this week. Sure. We can find something and be perfectly hit. I'll go play Ravislow again. But these guys came last year Or 2 years ago, we played Raviso. They want to see something different. That's going to be like, give me a cool course out there.
You want to show something off. I get it.
Just like if I went to see them, I go, hey, let's play a cool course. Let me see it. And I'm like, man, publicly speaking, we're pretty limited. So we settled on Mistwood. We're playing Mistwood.
I've heard good things on Mist. I haven't played Mistwood yet.
What
about Bolingbrook? You could play Bolingbrook.
God, I forgot about Bolingbrook in general. Yeah, I gotta put that on my list. I've never played it.
I haven't either, but everyone says they love it, and it's Mistwoody-ish.
I've heard
Mistwood's more Links style, but Bolingbrook's supposed to be kind of country clubby, and
I've heard very polarizing commentary about Mistwood. Some people love it, other people like it's a stupid amusement park. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what's fun about it. Yeah, that's why I want to play it, because I've kind of heard the same stuff.
Bolingbrook, I've heard, is nice, tough, and the price is a little steep. But I got to see these. Right. Got to see them.
Right. You can't have it all, William.
Sure.
Jesus.
But that's the point. In some places you can.
One course. Where can you have it all? Price. You're talking about one. You're talking about Lasonia Links is the one.
So I haven't seen it, and I can't fairly comment on it. But near Sand Valley, everyone's like, when you're up there, you got to play the 2 courses at Lake Arrowhead. Haven't played either of them yet. Last time I was up, we almost did, but they're like $55, and the courses are supposed to be amazing. You have Wild Rock by Wisconsin Dells. You have Trapper's Turn. Well, that's not as wowy. And that one gets expensive too, where you're like, that's $100 for 18 holes. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, it's the same, to me, it's the same kind of stuff, like Grand Geneva, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Geneva National, whatever that, $100, but it's, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. But that course here, think of that course would cost here. I don't know. I just feel like the Chicagoland public.
I get your point, though. I'm agreeing with your point.
Right. I know what you're saying.
Most part, but yeah,
it just doesn't have a wow factor. That's what it is.
Yeah, all the wow factor the truly wow factor courses are behind closed doors. You got to get through a gate. You got to get through the velvet rope.
Other states close by are not like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, they have them, but we do have Deer Run. But
if those courses were here, they'd be closed to the public. They'd be
exactly private. Yeah.
Right.
Lasonia would not be public in Chicago. Would not be. Not a chance.
No way.
I agree
with that.
It'd be condos at this point.
It'd be a condo in a cemetery.
You know what it is? It's like there's just so much of it. It's just basically there's tons of public golf in Chicago. It's just so diluted. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's a lot of it. Yeah.
So we go off to Calumet Country Club. It's sad. It's sad to see it go. I don't think they'll say it, but like usually I figured this out playing with you. Usually the last 3 years I've been getting emails like this time of year pushing me into memberships for next year or some sort of deal where it's like, hey, for $350, you can have a rest of the season membership and here are all the perks. And there hasn't been anything.
Yeah.
In the beginning of this season, they had a deal where it's like $3,500 for a season membership, and you got a set of the latest Titleist iron at the time. It's
really?
Wow.
So
$3,500 of that membership is the $1,300 iron.
Right. Wow.
So we got to make a video. We got to go there and capture its story, because it's also the story and the details of what used to be and what's there now don't really exist that well on the internet. So we should go make that time capsule before it's over. That's the goal. All right. Anything else you want to cover?
No, that's it. Can you play golf this weekend?
I'm playing on Saturday with John and the Michigan boys.
That's right.
That's the other thing, man. These guys are like, oh, yeah, this Donald Ross, that Donald Ross. And I'm like, admittedly, Donald Ross did a ton of work in Michigan, like tons of it. But we have one real public Donald Ross course that used to be private. There they have plenty of private ones, but they have public ones. Like, man.
Yeah, we don't have that.
But we'll go to Mistwood.
What do we get? We got like Dick Nugent. Didn't he design a bunch of courses in Chicago?
Dick Nugent. You got some Bob Lohman.
That's right. That's the other one.
And then there were some Bendelos, but Bob Lohman comes in and destroys them. You know what?
Who was the other one? Who was? There's one other. It's one of the Forest Preserve courses. I can't remember his name now, but I feel like he was around everywhere too. Was it? I
think Chick Evans.
Yeah, Chick Evans. Was he an architect? I feel like he was an architect.
I don't know if he did much architecture work, or it's like he was a huge name, so they would like slap his name on projects with someone.
Okay,
sort of like
what it was?
Sort of like Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer in the 70s before they really got a knack for it.
Right. Okay.
There's another one. Tom Bendelo, Lincoln Oaks down in Crete. We talked about a few times here, but so we use a couple public Bendelos. South Shore Country Club, now South Shore Golf Club or whatever it is. That was a Bendelo at one point.
Yeah.
What's the other one right there, right next to South Shore? Is that Jackson Park?
Jackson Park, yeah.
Want to say
those are going away.
Which that's another one. Do some research on. Very like classic historic.
That was a
Chicago big deal.
A huge deal.
Like even absolutely. So South Shore Country Club was like this giant estate lakefront. It was awesome.
Yep.
And it only had a 9-hole course.
Yep.
Tommy Bendelo came in, built it, and then shortly around that time, Jackson Park was I think it was always public. But Jackson Park Jackson Park was a big deal golf course to go play.
Huge. Yeah. That's where the city was originally born.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying,
those
by the way,
down there
for 4 years, I've been saying, hey, anyone who will listen, like, hey, we need to go play I know they're junk. We need to go play those historic courses because I've never played them before they're gone.
Yeah.
4 years of doing that. Maybe next time it's not.
Let's do like a Chicago run.
I say it's not a pandemic and it's not a war zone in the city.
Right.
Well, if my family's out of town, that's what I'll do. That's what I'll spend my chips on. I'll go knock that out finally.
Let's go play. Let's just do a Chicago run where we do we'll start at Marovitz. We'll go South Shore, Jackson Park, and then close it out with the two Harborside, or go Harborside and then just keep going south and hit, Ravislow or something.
We got to get into all that Indiana state border 1900 golf courses. They're shit piles now, but they at one time were big deals. We should go knock all those out too. Be like, you ever heard of it?
I would do that.
Might have to put some calls in. And
there's a couple. There's a couple that I'm very familiar with. I played there a ton when I worked in Hammond.
Oh, gross.
I was driving from Carpentersville, Illinois to Hammond, Indiana every day.
It's like a 2-hour drive.
I did it for a year. 60 miles one way, man. Paid my dues. You give me a hard time with my view behind me, but
oh my God, here we go.
But it's
hey, let's talk about your Prius and your TV. All right. On that note, it's good to be back after 2 weeks. We'll see. Hey, if we're lucky, maybe we'll do a show again next week at this rate.
Let's do a show together in person.
This weekend?
Soon. Not this weekend, but soon. Let's put it together.
All right. I like how that sounds.
Let's do a random show anniversary, like episode 36 or something. Or
that's pretty on brand.
We like to celebrate random anniversaries.
God, I can't wait for doing that. That's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be you realize it's gonna be a 2.5 hour show, right?
Oh, it'll be brutal. And no one's going to watch it, but we'll have it for posterity.
We might have to split it into parts. We'll interview neighbors walking by. It'll be great. Yeah, we have to do it. I think we have to do it here due to outdoor space reasons.
Yeah, for sure. We do it like at a golf course or something. I don't know.
Damn, wouldn't it be funny to be like, hey, Calumet, can we come use that patio of yours?
No one else is.
Hey, we saw 10 groups come through over 6 hours of being here. Going to hell. All right, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do an in-person show soon.
Cool.
Chris,
Yeah,
as always,
we'll have guests. It'll be a whole thing.
Oh, yes, we don't have.
Yeah, why not?
We don't have the microphones for that. Be like, what do you have to say? That's a beer bottle.
We'll have to do it like pass the mic back and forth.
You can pass the mic back and forth as long as you're wearing a mask.
Right. It's fine.
This is fine. All right, Chris. I'll talk to you later.
Cool, man.
Bye, everyone.